Hey guys, it's me Jocelyn. So today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make a simple edit on Alight Motion. Now I will admit that this tutorial is probably not for brand new beginners. If you need a tutorial for brand new beginners, I have like 3 up on how to make an edit for beginners on Alight Motion, so you guys can go ahead and check those out. This is for people who already know how to add in their audio and their photos and stuff. I'm just going to show you guys like a little edit you can copy of mine, and you don't even need to give credit, but I would like if you tagged me in it just so I could see the final result. But yeah, let's just get started. Once again, well, I don't even think I said this, but this is going to be 100% free. You guys can go ahead and you could even add any effects that you wanted to it, any audio that you want. So yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and open up a project in the square orientation, and I'm just going to type in simple edit tutorial. Obviously, you guys are going to type in something else if you want, and then I'm just going to hit create. Then I'm going to add in 8 photos. I am only choosing 8 because 8 is usually the normal amount for a regular timed edit, I guess. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna give them each a second, so it's enough for a transition. I'm sorry, I'm trying to cut the clips, so you're probably gonna hear some music playing over this while I cut all of these pictures, but yeah. Okay, so now that I have all my pictures timed and everything, we're gonna start with the actual tutorial. Now, like I said in the title, this is a simple edit. We're not gonna be doing any crazy transitions. If you guys do want to see an advanced editing tutorial and you guys follow it, leave that down in the comments below. The video will probably be 40 minutes long, but I feel like that'd be a good video. Okay. First things first, with most transitions, you want to add on tiles. So just go ahead and add on tiles. Now, in every edit that I've personally made, I always start it with a zoom out. So I add 2 keyframes, one at the very beginning and one at the very end. And this is always on the first photo. And I zoom it in on the first keyframe like this. And then I stop. And then I do a graph, and I decide if I want it to be a slow type graph or a fast graph. Today I'm feeling a medium kind of speed, so this is just what it's going to look like. This is how it's going to zoom out. And now we're going to go ahead and do a spin. Now I used to do this thing with keyframes where whenever I put them really close together, it used to be super choppy, but I did realize that now you should start your keyframes at point 2 of every single edit that you make of your photo. So I'm just going to do it like this. Now we're going to go ahead and do a spin, so go on to move and transform, and then go to the spin panel. Now add 2 keyframes, and one at the very end and one at the very beginning. And on the second one, go ahead and turn it to whatever degree you want. I'm just going to do -108 or somewhere around there. Then I'm going to go ahead and do a in graph. So it looks like this so far. As you can see, it's not very slow paced. I think it's just a lot easier for me since I don't have an audio to follow. So this is just my opinion. So this is what yours should look like right now, or something like this at least. So go ahead and go on to your second photo after you have your transitions created. And also I kind of forgot to explain the graphs. I'll explain those in this next one. You can add on tiles again. Also, you don't have to add on tiles if you prefer not to. I just like the look of my edit being mirrored. But if you guys like the little black background look, you could definitely just not mirror it, and then that'll work too. Okay, so add 2 keyframes, one at the beginning and one at the end, or in the middle-ish. It's up to you, honestly. Now, on your first keyframe of the second part of your transition, go ahead and turn it the opposite way. So since I turned my transition -108 degrees the first time, now I'm going to turn it positive. Now we're going to do an outgraph, which is basically you can just either one of these two. You just kind of pull it up and pull it like this, and then I just pulled this down just because it's a little bit easier. It's a medium speed. And that'll complete the spin transition that we just did. So currently we have a zoom out and a spin. So what I'm thinking of doing now is a stretch. Okay, so what you want to do is go ahead, go to move and transform, go to the zoom in panel, and then just tap this little infinity arrow sign thingy. Add 2 keyframes. Once again, add it close to the beginning of your photo, and add one at like the end-ish. I'm gonna go ahead and adjust this once it's done. And then on this first panel right here, just go ahead and slide it so it's stretching. Hold down on it if you haven't already, and then just put it at the end. And then this is an in-graph, which is basically either of these two. It's usually always this one. Then you just pull down and then just pull a little bit forward like this. So you should currently have a zoom out, a spin, in the first part of your stretch transition. It should look something like this. Okay, so now go ahead and go on to your, I think it is your third photo. Yes, your third photo. Go back into the little add tiles, okay? If you had tiles before, you should probably add them again. Go ahead and go back into the little zoom in panel and go ahead and add 2 keyframes, one at the beginning or one at the middle, or one at the beginning, one at the end, whatever you guys like. And then you know how you stretched it this way before? Go ahead and stretch it the opposite way. Okay, so this part can be if you have Alight Motion Pro, or if you have Advanced, or if you have like free. If you have free, just go ahead and do a normal outgraph, and it's just gonna be a little stretch transition. But if you have the premium version, you can go ahead and tap this little thing right here, and then tap this, and basically what you can do is pull down on it, and then it'll like jiggle a little bit like that. It'll like kind of like bounce, not jiggle, what was I even thinking? It'll bounce like that, just like this. I'm going to go ahead and just do the free graph, only because this was meant to be kind of like a free tutorial, but if you have advanced, you could definitely do that and give it like a little bounce effect. So currently this is what your edit should look like, or at least look something like this, like that. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead at the very beginning of the photo, hold down on move and transform, and then do you see these like little 4 lines with the arrows on the end? Tap it. Then it's going to say something called swipe here to move pivot point. Basically, this is just what the direction is going, like this is basically what the direction your transition is going to go in into the next photo. So what you want to do is go ahead and hold down and move yours kind of to the side-ish. It doesn't have to be exactly on the red line, though it probably should be. Now go ahead into the first part of the transition. Oh wait, sorry, we are not doing that transition. I'm so sorry, guys. I didn't realize it would affect the transition that we had already done. So we're just not going to do it on this one. Yeah, let me just go ahead and find the little center for this. Okay, it's like we never moved the pivot point. Okay, good. So now I think what we're probably going to do is a hexagon spin. So go ahead and go to add effect, and then go to distortion and warp. Now go to hexagon, tile rotate. I think I'm missing it. Okay, there it is. And then just hit standard settings. You guys can adjust the size any way you want. I usually do 50.0. I just like the way that looks a lot better. I'm going to go ahead and copy that effect. Now I'm going to go to rotation and turn it. And then I'm going to add 1 keyframe at the beginning-ish and 1 at the end-ish. And then I'm going to go ahead and turn it to 135 degrees. And then we're going to hold down on it and adjust our keyframe and then do our in-graph. So it'll look like this. And if you guys want, you can go ahead and hold down on the photo on the side, hit this like little thing with the triangle and the circle, and then go ahead and add tiles onto that group. Now go ahead and go on to the little spinny thingy, and then like right in the middle where you added your first keyframe, go ahead and add it again, and then go and make it like -90 or +90, whatever one you want. Then do an in-graph, and this is basically a center hexagon tile rotate. So your center piece of the hexagon will stay put while the rest, it just kind of spins around it. We're going to go ahead and do the exact same thing on here, except the opposite way. So go ahead and add on hexagon tile rotate again and adjust it to whatever size you need or want. Now, without adding any keyframes, make your rotation 270 degrees, just like this. And then on your second keyframe, just keep scrolling and make it 360 degrees. And then do your outgraph. So it should look something like this. Okay, so now go ahead and hold down on this photo, the second part of your hexagon transition. If you guys don't like the little black lines, you could always just go onto tiles and hit crop, and it'll usually get rid of them, but I don't really mind them at the moment. So go ahead and go back onto the spin panel after you've grouped it. And then on your first keyframe, make it the negative amount of what you did the first time. So now we're going to make it like, well, mine's going to be the positive amount. Yours is probably going to be the negative if you have a different phone. So go ahead and just do your outgraph afterwards. And this is what it should look like. It'll kind of just like the center will stay put while the rest kind of just spins around the center. You know what I mean? So this is what our edit looks like so far. We haven't even added motion blur yet. Just like this. Okay. So now what we're going to do, I'm trying to think of a transition. I'm thinking maybe we can do, I'm sorry, I'm still thinking. Maybe we could do a squeeze. So go ahead and go on to squeeze, add it, and then add a keyframe, one at the beginning and one at the end. And you can do as much as you want. I don't really like mine too intense. I usually just do 1.00 or just a little bit over. And then in graph, this is what it looks like, just like this. Also, if you guys ever need me to slow down, there's something called playback speed on YouTube. It's just like the 3 dots when you tap the video. You can just adjust the playback speed to make it slower or faster, whatever you guys want. Now go ahead and go on to your next photo and then add the squeeze effect again. But this time, make it negative 1.00 or negative of whatever the first number you did was, and add an outgraph. So this is what it should look like. I like to make my squeezes a little more intense just so you can notice they're there, because squeeze isn't a super noticeable effect unless you like make it more intense. But yeah. So now we're going to do a pinch and bulge. So go ahead and go into distortion and warp and go to pinch and bulge and then just add it. Just tap strength and then just automatically set it to 0. Alight motion won't add any automatic keyframes or anything, so you'll be fine. Now add 1 keyframe at the beginning and 1 at the end. And make it negative 1.00. I'm going to adjust my keyframes and my graph. So it looks like this. But I do prefer my zoom out to be a little bit more intense. So what I do is I go into pinch and bulge, I go to radius, and I usually turn it up to like 700 something, just so you can really see it, and it kind of just really pulls the picture out a little bit. Now go ahead and go back onto pinch and bulge, and just make the strength 1000 or 1.00. And then on your second keyframe, just make it 0. Once again, we're doing negatives and positives, like the opposite way. And we're going to make the radius the exact same, if not more. I usually like making it more just so you can see like it's a like dramatic like zoom out effect. But that seems like a little too much, so I think maybe I'm just going to do the same amount. Looks like that. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and go on to move our pivot point. So go ahead and tap these 4 lines with the arrows and then just slide it over to the side. And then add 2 keyframes on the spin panel, and then go ahead and you can spin it whichever way you want. Honestly, I'm just gonna spin it this way because I like that way. You can do as much or as little as you want. I just did like -60, and I'm going to go ahead and add on my tiles since I forgot to. So this is what your edit should look like so far, or it looks something like it. Okay. So now go on to your next photo. I'm going to add tiles early this time. And then go on to your pivot point again and move it the exact same place it was the first time. And then just do the opposite of the first number you did on the spin transition. So I think I did it this way. We're going to go ahead and do it this way with a medium speed outgraph. Oh, I did it the wrong way. Let me just redo that really quickly. So this is what your spin should look like, or look something like at the very least. I'm going to go ahead and just make my keyframes a little bit longer just so it has that like, oh, I'm still like kind of rolling effect, you know what I mean? Okay. So now we're going to do, I'm actually thinking, maybe we're going to go ahead and do a stretch open. So go back onto the zoom in panel and make sure if you haven't already, tap your little infinity key. Now go ahead and add 2 keyframes where you usually do, but this time go to the bottom panel and slide it this way. So it's like spreading open, the like picture is, and then do your medium speed or your fast or slow speed in graph. Looks like that. Now you're on to your last photo. So what you want to do is go ahead and if you haven't already, add your tiles as usual. And then we're going to go back onto the zoom in panel and then add 2 keyframes. Then we're going to slide it the opposite way what we did the first time, just like this. Then we're going to do our outgraph, medium speed, fast, slow, whatever you guys prefer. And it should look like this, like it's stretching open. Okay, so now our edit is pretty much complete. There are a few final touches. This is what your edit should look like or like similar to, okay? Okay, I think that edit is pretty simple and it'll end up looking really smooth once we add on our motion blur. So go ahead and go to effects and add motion blur. I'm just gonna go ahead and copy and paste it onto every photo I have, just so it's easier and not so much of a hassle to do. Sorry, low power mode. Okay, so now if you want shakes, go ahead and go on to add effect, go to move and transform, and then find oscillate, and then go to standard settings. Now you can go to angle and change it to whatever you want. I'm just going to change mine to 80. Now go to magnitude and add 2 keyframes, one at the very beginning, one at the very end. There probably shouldn't be any in the middle. You can make the magnitude, this is just how much the photo is going to shake when it comes out. So this is what it'll look like if I do it like this. Very smooth, but once you add on the graph, then it'll probably become a little less intense. I personally like this for the first photo. I don't know if I'm in love with the angle that it came out at, so I'm going to go ahead and adjust that a little bit. So like that, okay. And if you wanted mini shakes, you could go ahead and just make the magnitude less on your other photos as well. But yeah, that's pretty much sums up how to make a simple edit on Alight Motion. Not only is it extremely smooth if you did what I told you and like use like the right graphs and stuff, but you can never go wrong with a simple edit. There's no such thing as a bad edit anyways. So yeah, that's it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if it helped you out, and comment down below any tutorial requests you guys may have. I hope you're having a great day, and yeah, I love you guys. Bye. Thank you.